Some time ago, I think about a year or a year and a half ago, I once made a video speaking about Bushiri's replacement of local pastors. You know, when we made that video, it sounded like a conspiracy. It sounded like it's just a story, made up story. You're just kind of putting out things out in socials. But for some people, it will take a knock on the head for them to kind of see what we were saying. But hey, to each and everyone, his own. Now, why am I even bringing this up is because the recent Limpopo conference that Bushiri has tells you exactly what I was saying back then. Looks like they are really replacing local pastors. I'll put it up here. You tell me. These are the mandates that are put to doing the conference for the 21st. Okay, so this was a conference thing that they had, and this is a Limpopo thing, right? You can see it right there. Mokopong town, something like that. So this is a Limpopo area. Let's look at the people involved, or the pastors that are in charge of the branches. Okay, you can see it's an ECG thingy, CCG way. Okay, the pastor there, evangelist team, Kwapane, okay, Kwapane branch. I'm not sure if he's South African. Apostle Hilary, Njerere. So you'll think Njerere branch will be held by a vendor or so because there's village, there's grannies there. Nope. Not to say that a person they can't have a foreign pastor or anything, but it's very interesting for a church like ECG where you will expect that they have enough pastors too who are Limpopo. The grannies there. This is why put Hilary. Hilary is no. We're not being xenophobic, but this is suspicious. Suspicious behavior. Pastor Chico Naini, I'm not sure what area that is. And then Musina, Apostle David, Pastor Rose, I'm not sure, she might be South African, Modimonle, and then Matibiela. Matibiela is Pastor Molomu. He might be local. So two people who might be local here. And then down at the bottom, Apostle Bota. Bota, I'm not sure if he's from Lepalale. And then Gianni, Pastor Brave, Apostle Brave. We are not local. Pastor Alvin, we are not local. He's the host pastor. And then Tanin. These are very village areas. Apostle is not local. Adamson, not local. Apostle Njekwa, we are not local. The Bishop of Limpopo. Tabazimbi branch, Wise Man Henry, we are not local. Apostle Elliot, Mudimulla as well, we are not local. Bazalwan, what's happening to Bushiri's branches in the villages where they are removing? They'll have these other pastors who are local build up the branches. And then, whoop, swap. You don't find it something? Basalani, let me explain to you. Let me explain. This is not a xenophobic thing. But I want you to understand something. The reason why God calls us in the place of our residence or so forth is because we are more effective, because we understand either the language and we are able to relate with them a certain way or differently. This is not just about, no, we are all Africans, live being African. God made me Venda for a reason. God made me South African for a reason. God made you Malawian for a reason. Not for you to go replace a pastor in Limpopo. Now, don't get the wrong idea here. That does not mean God can't call a person from a foreign country to go minister in a different country. Don't get that idea. But not like this. Not like this. Bushiri's church blew up in South Africa, and you are telling me all those pastors that were submitted under Bushiri, the whole Limpopo is foreign pastors? It's nothing against the mandem. If that's what you are hearing, you have the wrong kind of an ear. You listen wrong. There is a reason God calls us within the region to be effective. As a person who has interest within the media space, I am able to speak to people who might be there in a certain way. A person whose vendor has a way of communicating to a person in the villages in vendor a certain way. It's so that we are effective in those areas. If a hip-hopper became born again and he starts hip-hopping, do you understand? There are things he understands about hip-hoppers that make him effective in there. A person comes from a cult. They are effective in there. Not for them to start teaching cultism and what. No. Every teaching of theirs is Satan is doing this. Hey, can you pause on Satan? Point being this: God makes us part of these particular tribes for a reason. We are effective in there. I'm black, it's not random. It's because I have the mannerism and I understand the behavior. So I am able to communicate even at that level. It's not random. You see, this is what builds national pride. It's because it's not. I'm not talking about xenophobic pride. National pride. I am proud to be South African. It comes from what? Because God made me, specifically me, the way I am, with unique gifts to be effective there. Can't be here be wishing to speak like Snoop Dogg. Can't be here wanting to be nasally. Start speaking Yes, of course, there are people that speak like that because, maybe they went to, C school, what they call model C schools. Our brothers who went to Balunguruza over there. When they came back, an accent was there. That video of that girl from KZM, which is very viral. James, if you don't know what video I'm talking about, you're not from South Africa. There's this girl from TikTok. She's very famous. She acts European. If you listen to her, you will say she's from Europe. She's from Europe there. And then just talking to my driver. It's the hot sun, he's talking about. If you've seen the video, you know what I mean. There is a reason God builds the interests. If you've watched videos of black men in China And you listen to them talking to Chinese people, and then they talk in English, they sound like they're struggling, and then the Chinese people start asking each other, what is this person saying? And then he speaks in their language. You see the shock. The Chinese is very difficult. It's a very difficult language. 10,000 characters. That's a very difficult language. And so they speak in their language. You see the shock. Why? Because it's like it does something when a person can relate to us. So now that you understand what I'm saying, what is this? See? Yeah, we're not saying, oh yeah, South African pastors must be only South African. You are hearing the wrong thing. But you can't tell me all Limpopo, this is a village. Like if you said this was Joburg, I'll understand. In Joburg, we all speak English. You know, Kiahanjo. These are villages. Malamulele. These are villages. Lipalela. Giyani. You know the grannies in Giyani. This is what makes all this long sermon. Giyani. Tsanin. The Bishop of Limpopo is not from Limpopo. You know, you hear it even Paul saying, okay, so we can show you that this is Bible. The Bible actually teaches this. Paul says, to the Greeks I appear as a Greek. To the Zulus I appear as a Zulu. You know? When you speak, you say, yeah, I'm fed. I'm fed. Yo, fed. When you say it like that, you know, you are relating to them. You speak now and you say Shandis. You know, that's KZN. Shandis is a thing from KZN. When you say thingy, Shandis. Shandis. It's them. That's how they react. Those are the mannerisms in their tone. That is for a reason. National pride is for a reason. You are a vendor for a reason. God didn't make a mistake. God didn't want you something else. Yes, for those that might have learned a different year, there's a benefit there. God channels us towards, not for you to go wipe out the whole Limpopo with Malawi pastors. Understand, don't get the wrong idea. Ne? Don't get the wrong idea. Some people, they will make this xenophobic. This is not xenophobic. This is wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It tells you something is wrong. It tells you there's an agenda here. Where are all I know Limpopo pastors, I know the pastors. If I go back, I'm just not going to do that. We are effective. Man, I'm not even going to explain again. If you don't get me, it tells you how weak. Like you see, I remember my mentor mentioning this thing, and he says, we move on the basis of ministry. Ministry tells us to move. If my ministry is in a certain region, I can move there. I won't move there if my ministry is not going to be effective in that region. Now, why was he saying that? He was saying that because he wanted to impress upon us there is a reason why God put you in this particular place. You are effective. Limpopo, a village. Lepalane, what. All these places. Foreign pastors. Haibo. This is not about, who's doing what, preaching. No. This is an agenda. You can't see it. Now, for those that take this as if Ricky's being xenophobic, then you are the most ineffective person in ministry. Why? Because it tells you the things that you don't understand about God's mission. We're not talking about a person. God can't send a person to go and preach in Pakistan. That's not what we're saying. Yes, God can send someone to go and preach in Pakistan. Yes. But all of you, all of you, who? Limpopo. How's that impatient? That impatient. Sabotage. Structurality show with daily Christian commentary videos. And I hope you got what I'm pointing at. What I was talking about a year and a half ago, you see it now. Ricky just hates. Hate. It's Ricky, we're done here.